everyone. I'm Rebecca Lombardo, host of VendorVibes and fractional CMO. Today, I'm here with Ben from Rev and Research. Hello, Ben.
Hey, Rebecca, how are you, dear?
Good, good. Good to see you.
Good to
So,
see you. Yeah, no, it's a Friday morning for sure.
yes. So, I'm going to ask the first question of what is Rev and Research?
Rev and Research, simply put, is kind of I would say it's kind of a little bit of like what you do, a fractional revenue manager. The way that I like to say it, if you really want to know what we do on the day to day, is we're basically going to sit between all that data that you have to look for. Then you've got your pricing tool, and then you have the guest. The guest has to see some pricing to make a booking, correct? It's going to be hard to make a booking with no rates. So we help set those rates. And so if you think about it, you got all this data out there. Then you've got the guest here. We sit in the middle there and audit your data, compile your data, analyze your data, help make sure that your pricing tool and your settings are aligned with your organization's goals. And then we analyze that data continually to make sure that you're getting to the goals of the organization that were set at the first of the year. I think it's a pretty cool way to make sure that organizations are hitting their operational budgets. We're a big push on year over year growth is enough for traditional property managers. And so we really have a methodology that's been tested over the last, I would say, 10 years at scale. And we're just taking that and implementing it into other people's organizations.
Fantastic. So, what makes what you guys do unique?
That's a great question. I would say that we've got quite a few. I don't even know what you call us. Are we fractional revenue managers? Are we consultants? Are we data geeks? That's 100% data geeks. But I actually have great relationships with I don't see our competition as competition, you would say. What makes us unique, though, I think, is that me and then Rebecca Ballard, we've been responsible to balance sheets. I got into the business down in Isla Mujeres, Mexico. I don't know how many years ago now because COVID, and then now I'm just old. So it was just a long time ago, I guess. Um, I got into it. We started off with 3 units of my best friend's mom, and grew that to about 200 units in about 18 to 24 months. So we've been responsible to a balance sheet, which in revenue management, I think changes the perspective. Um, I think also the biggest difference is that we have a methodology that the foundation of it is year over year growth is enough. I think that our industry is kind of skipping some steps. We're trying to run before we've walked with looking at market data and comp set data. So we're kind of going back to the roots of revenue management, of true data. And when I say true data, I mean that pure portfolio data that's yours. And so when we look at it that way, we're setting the property manager up for success and for year over year growth. And then we're going to push the envelope for yield. But we're going to make sure that we build a table, we set the table so that we can put money on the table. And I think with us being responsible to the balance sheet, we're able to look at it from a way of profitability that's going to be a little bit different than anybody else in the industry right now.
Okay, yeah, that is very unique. And
Oh,
so if you were to say like, hey, you need to have this in place in order to work with us, like, does the client need to have a PMS? Do they need to have QuickBooks? Like, is there a minimum
that's a great
requirement?
question. That's a great question. We are for sure feeling the effects of the fragmentation, as you would hear at about every conference we go to. The fragmented technology in our space. We for sure feel that. I would say as much as anybody. I mean, as much as a wheelhouse and a price labs, I guess we feel it that much. They have way more clients that are bigger than us, but I would say you don't really need anything other than data. And then if you're just starting out, and that's we just went to Favor. We just went to Orlando, and I was just so impressed with the hunger for knowledge when it came to revenue management. And so we're just working with smaller hosts that are growth hungry, that are growth driven. That really is the foundation of people that want to dive into data and grow. And we'll work the rest out. But yeah, having a PMS helps a lot. But as long as we can get booking data, we can work with anybody now.
Okay, so when you said data earlier, you were referring to booking data.
Yeah, we just need to see four things. We need to see when the reservation was created, when they check in, when they check out, and how much money they spent. And so there's a report in every PMS that has that. And we just go in there, and manipulate that data, and then we just visualize it for you. We take something that's very complicated, that's very big, that's very overwhelming, and then we take it and put it into pictures or put it into visualizations and just show you where you should be looking and what units are in trouble or what units are booking too quickly. And we just kind of try to take that into digestible little bites so that the property manager begins to have confidence in the plan that they have for revenue management.
Perfect. And you mentioned Mexico earlier. Does that mean you're working internationally, or are you just domestic in the US for right now?
No, I would have to ask my COO Rebecca, because our business kind of blew up 18 months ago or so for the first time, and we have clients in about every time zone. But it's not easy. I call it getting time zone. Trying to send calendar invites with somebody in Eastern time, with me out west, and then somebody in England. I just mess them up. But yes, we work with everybody. Everybody from Hawaii to England. I think we've got some people in Australia. If there's anybody in like a Dubai or in Asia, would love to have a conversation. But yeah, we love working with clients like that are kind of on the outskirts, Rebecca. Like, I love the European market. We've got a great guy, Matt, from co-host out there, that's just crushing it, man. His booking window's gone from like literally 4 hours to about 6 days. We've really taken some growth there. But it's hard because there's not the data that we have here. So we're always kind of continually problem solving. And so if you've got a problem when it comes to revenue, we want to help you solve it.
I'm so tempted to bust out into a song right there, but I won't.
Yeah.
Excellent. So would you say that you work with folks of all sizes then? Because you had mentioned like kind of helping people get off the ground. Do they need to have a certain number of properties in order to work with you?
No, I would say so. As you can tell, we're pretty passionate about what we do. My passion is about really taking property managers and its growth. It's owner retention to owner acquisition. With my COO, she is more into the education. I love them both. I would say our target, the best person to come work with us is the 15 to 30 units that's really looking to grow. But we're actually doing some cool stuff with some smaller hosts and grouping them together. And so we're taking 3, 5, 7 hosts and doing just like little group classes and little pop, I call them kind of little pop quizzes. We're going to do 15 to 20 minute meetings. We're going to engage. We're going to ask some questions and move on. And so we're really trying to push the envelope on education and making it transparent. And I want to make it comfortable. I want to take our data that kind of puts a lump in somebody's throat or a knot in somebody's stomach because they look at it and they go, I got no effing clue what to do here. And I want to go, okay, that's fine. But hey, we have a revenue management system in place. Hey, come over to Rev and Research and we're going to guide your eyes. We're going to make sure your vision is looking at the data that's then moving your attention to where it needs to be, and then looking at where we need to be booked and what percentage of occupancy we need to be. All of a sudden, making decisions becomes a lot easier, and all of a sudden, we can focus on marketing.
I love it. So you mentioned earlier having somebody who was really happy with you guys. Can you share a little anecdote or story about why your clients are so happy with you?
Yeah, I think that I think that I'm just super lucky in life in general. This industry has been ridiculously kind to me. I mean, it's a Friday morning at 8:15. I'm hanging out with Rebecca Lombardo. I've got a couple other calls. I was just hanging out, just talked to Sarah Drew from Island Time in Hilton Head. I'm gonna hang out with Rebecca Ballard. I'm gonna hang out with Kanan and Mike O'Connell from Happy Guest and Turdo today. I get to hang out with really, really cool people. But I would say the companies that are the most happy with us, I would say Lance and Elaine Stitcher from Seaside Property Managers of the Year last year. Um, they're kind of become our mentors in the industry. They took a gamble on us early. They had about 145 to 150 units. Now they've got about 400 to 500. Riley and JJ King from Beachside, we actually started working with them when they had 17 units. They were our first kind of smaller client there. They're up to like 200, 250. So we really like taking those clients and growing their business through education, through putting a foundation. And I think that really is where we excel. One other anecdote real quick that I always like to shout out is Lisa from Stay Porch. When we first started working with her a couple years ago, she really was struggling with and I don't want to embarrass her or anything, but she really didn't know what ADR was. She hadn't ever been exposed to any education. And now we've got her going. Now we started working with her. She had like 5 units. She's got upwards of 23 or 24 units. She's going into another market. She's competing with some large players in her market. And she's taking homeowners from these large organizations that have been in business 15, 20 years. And that's what really drives our passion. That's what makes us smile.
That's not uncommon, really, right? For folks to start out that way.
No, it really is. And I try to let people know that revenue management really can be the foundation of your organization. One way that we grew so fast in Mexico was I made it darn clear that we were going to be the organization, or we were going to be the property management company that drove revenue into an asset. If you want to come and rent your place a few weeks a year, that wasn't for us. We wanted to drive rental revenue and drive revenue 24/7. And so we used that as the foundation of our growth, but we also used it as the foundation of the language we spoke in the office. And so if you think about it, we're all speaking the same language now. So Rebecca, if me and you were working with the same client, you call me and go, Ben, hey, I'm worried about 3 bedrooms in January. Well, we would pull some reporting and go, Rebecca, you're 100% right. Let's hammer this segment of your client database, and let's hammer it now. Let's hammer it early, and let's offer a 5 to 7% discount or a promo code that knocks something off a cleaning fee, something simple. Let's start pulling some other levers and just dropping price by 15, 20%. 3, 4 weeks later, let's do something now and get proactive. But also, too, the way that we like to look at data, it's all based on time and how far are we away from that arrival day. So we're trying to stay proactive. And Rebecca, our goal is to go, hey, Rebecca, we're 2 weeks out. I need you to know that we got 3 things. I hear your 3 tasks from the revenue side of things. I need you to hit 3 bedrooms for June or for January. Hey, I'm getting clobbered in November in my smaller units. Hey, I need something there. But hey, in March, I don't know what's going on. My 6 bedrooms are booking like crazy. So we're going to go ahead and crank those rates up. But I want you to still send a promo code because I'm about to jack them up 30% because we got our rates good far out. So we've already built a table. So now we're going to loop in Rebecca Lombardo. We're going to loop in revenue management, and we're going to really, really put gasoline on that fire.
You use the same phrases that I use, pulling the levers and being proactive.
That's it.
Yes, that is exactly how revenue and marketing should work together, because it's not just about pulling from your existing database. It's also about growing the database and going out there and matching the audience you have that like matches that demand with a new audience, new eyeballs. I know we're getting a little off track here, but thank you for
Rebecca,
that.
I think that one thing that we have struggled with for our entire history as a company is getting everybody on the same page. How do you talk to different departments when there's no foundation of what is actually good or bad? So Rebecca, like, how do we go? Rebecca, our revenue needs help from Rebecca. How do we know that? That's
Hashtag
what we do.
goals.
That's
Hashtag
what we do.
goals.
We're going to help you set your benchmarks. We're going to help you set, hey, 135 days out, you better be occupied at this percentage.
I love it. That is so perfect. Music to my ears. So if somebody's listening to this and they want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to reach out?
Best way to reach out is probably revandresearch.com. You can always email Rebecca, Rebecca, at revandresearch.com. I am not the best at getting back to people that want to talk with us. Always like Rebecca to handle that. But yeah, just visit the website as well. One thing, when you visit the website, you'll see that we are actually offering a new product. We're calling it Checkpoints. It's based around a lot of what we talked about today. It's taking the foundation of revenue management, going back to the roots, and just walking the property manager through. I don't want to say basic, I want to say the word foundational data. And we're going to take all the data that doesn't matter, and I'm going to delete it and give you tunnel vision to where you need to look and when. And Rebecca, that's what allows us to work with everybody, because we can teach when people, I can teach anybody in the country to go, hey, on Friday, September 27th, you darn sure better be X% booked for these units. That's not a hard thing to look at. They were 42% booked last year. I want them 42% booked this year. Well, if they're 26% booked, I need to do something. Well, what do you need to do? Now we can have a conversation. And that's what we're super excited over here for, is putting people in the situation to be able to make decisions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. It was such a pleasure.
Oh, Rebecca, thank you so much. And we made it. I've got some dogs that may be about to run over here, but we made it through. I thought this was absolutely wonderful, and it's a pleasure to speak with you as always.
Awesome. Thank you. Cheers, everyone.
Hey, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rebecca.